Welcome to Rambam. We are in the 10th book, Sefer Tahara, the book of purity. And we're speaking about the impurity of tsaras, of skin disease. Um, was a biblical nature, if you will. Okay. Chapter 8. With regard to blemishes of the head and the chin, where there's hair, if the hair would fall out from its roots and leave a portion of a skin bare of hair, it is called anetic. All right, so that blemish is called anetic. Anetic may not be less than the size of a gris that is square, which is the size of a dime. That's a size. This applies whether it appears deep or not, either surface or deep in the skin. The term deep was mentioned with regard to anetic only to teach you, just as the shade that is deep comes about through the hand of heaven, so to anetic must come about through the hand of heaven. In other words, this whole skin disease is a heavenly thing. So Rambam will actually at the end speak about it came about as a result of Lashon Hara, of speaking ill. You know, this is what was one of the very few, very clear incidences where the Torah tells us that an ill deed, here speaking ill about another, um, results in a physical malady. So this is a very spiritual thing, and it's only coming from heaven. Just like that if you have some kind of skin that's deeper than the skin, the color has changed. You know that didn't come like you know that that's a clearer indication it's from heaven than if you someone slammed your hand or hit into your hand and you scraped your hand, and now that you've got you're bleeding, it doesn't seem the same heavenly um, um, that it's coming from heaven in the same manner. It seems more natural. Yeah, you scraped yourself, you're bleeding. You cut yourself, you got blood. That's more natural. So he's saying just as the deep appearance of this netic, right, this kind of blemish on the skin, it came by the hands of heaven. So that's to teach us as the netic has to come about by the hand of heaven. They seclude a blemish on a portion of the head or the chin where hair was removed by the person, such as a blemish is pure. So if you shaved your head, then this netic won't work because that you did something rather than heaven took away your hair, right? Now, when a woman or a woman, a saris is like a eunuch, someone who doesn't have, doesn't mature. They grow hair on their chins. They can contract the impurity of netic if it falls off, if that happens to happen, right? Nitakim, which is the plural for netic, become impure due to two signs: short, golden hair, and spreading. So here's before we had, right, that it was two white hairs in the baheret, in the skin that was kind of whitish, different shades of white. Here, this netic, this blemish, right? Nega, yeah. Okay, in Hebrew, it's nega. So what's going to grow there is short golden hair or that it spreads, right? After it's been seen by the Kohen and now it spreads, thereafter, if a week in quarantine, then it spreads. There is an isolation period, that's the quarantine period, of 2 weeks. 1 week and a second week. That means 2 weeks altogether. All of this is explicitly stated in the Torah. What is implied? When an antic appears on a man's head or in his beard, one second. Right. So it's on this place where there was originally hair, and now there isn't, right? If it contains two or more short gold hairs, and there's no black hair in the netik at all, he should be deemed definitively impure. There's no question there. If it did not contain any hair, neither black nor golden, he should be isolated. Excuse me. He should be isolated for a week. On the seventh day, a kohen should examine him. If short golden hair emerge or a netic spread, the afflicted person should be deemed definitively as impure, right? Because now he has the two signs. If two black hairs emerge, he should be released from the inspection process, right? No more quarantine. If it neither spread or neither golden or black hair emerge, the kohen should shave around the netic, but not the hair directly adjacent to the netic, and isolate him for a second week. So in the previous one, two black hairs. So that's a positive sign, right? Therefore, he's released. In this instance now, it just stayed the same. It didn't increase in size. There was no golden hair or black that would, either. So now he goes in for a second week, but not just goes in for a second week, you cut the hair around. Then the kohen should examine him again at the end of the second week. If the neck gets spread or short golden hair emerge, he should be deemed definitively as impure. All right, the two things, spread or golden hair. Nothing changes, released from the inspection process. For it, the takim do not require isolation for more than 2 weeks. If golden hair appears or the netting expands after he is released, he's definitively categorized as impure. Okay. Halacha number 3. How is a netic shaved? One shaves the area around it and leaves 2 hairs next to it on every side, so any spread will be noticeable, right? 2 hair follicles you leave, so that way you could see that indeed I think grow. Otherwise it'd be hard to tell. This shaving is no matter which person performs it, as implied, and he will be shaved, right? Be shaves means in the passive, meaning what's important is that he is shaved, not who shaved him. That's what it means. Anybody can then do it. Similarly, the shaving may be performed with any instrument. Even if one is a Nazarite, he should shave. If, however, he isolated himself without shaving, the isolation is effective. Right. In other words, you have to wait the week, and then the Kohen will have to check him. It'd be more difficult to tell if it spread. But yeah. The golden hair mentioned in Torah must have a golden hue. The word dak the term dak mentioned there implies the hair must be short. If, however, it were long, even though they are golden hue, it is not a sign of impurity. Wow. You'd think it'd be doubly so. Well, no, but the Torah is specifically giving that parameter. Number 5, 2 short golden hairs are a sign of impurity. Whether they are adjacent to each other or distant from each other, whether they are in the center of the netik or they're in the extremities. Whether the netik existed before the golden hair existed before the netik, they are a sign of impurity, provided that they can be pulled out by tweezers. It's explained with regard to white hair. So white hair had to come after the baheret, remember. The skin discoloration first, then the 2 white hairs, right? Here, the order doesn't matter. What's the difference? Well, he didn't bring down the verses, which I'm surprised. Give us the teachings of what? Okay. For a black hair to save the blemish from being considered anetic, they must be 2 hairs. Remember, we said that in isolation, or even if not in isolation, but if you have 2 black hairs, you have black hair, not the golden, then you are deemed you are no longer isolated. You're not impure. But it has to be 2 hairs. They do not prevent that categorization unless they're long enough to be bent in half, where the point is in the base. If that criterion is met, their presence is significant, whether they are adjacent to each other or distant from each other, provided they are in the center of the netik and that there is empty skin for 2 hairs to grow between the 2 black hairs and are located in the netik, and that the hair is outside of it. And that the hair is outside of it. If, however, the 2 hairs remain at the extremity of the netik, they do not prevent it from being placed in that category that everything is okay. How do we prevent the netik from being considered a tsuras? If 2 black hairs remain in the netik, even though they are golden hairs in the netik, or it spread, the person is pure. Right? Why? Even though you have the golden hair, you have 2 black hairs in it, it's pure. If the person deemed definitely impure because of golden hair or the spreading of the netik, and 2 hairs grew in it, the netik is considered as pure. And they counteract the spreading of the golden hair. Spreading of the golden hair. This applies whether they grew in the middle of the netik or in the extremities. Where the hair that grows prevents a netik from being considered as impure in every place within the netik, while a hair that remains is effective only when the 2 handbreds when it is 2 handbreds away from healthy hair. Okay, I have to stop here. All right, folks.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Thank you. If I made because of the holidays, so if I made a TRC today at 4 o'clock, would that work for you, the 3 of you? Or
Yeah, it would good. 4 o'clock is good. 20
That would be
minutes, yeah.
1 o'clock here. I'm not sure if that's going to be a good time for me.
May not be?
No.
It won't be, or I'm not sure?
No, it will not be
It
good
won't
for
be.
me.
We
Tim?
can make later. Doesn't matter for me.
It's good. Okay. Yeah, I don't know if I can do it later. I might be able to do it at 4:30 or 5. Would that make any difference, Diane?
Let me think. It may make a little bit more of a difference, yeah. I'll try to pop in there, but not do it because of me.
I'll check with others.
Okay.
Tim, Michael, it's good. Okay.
Yeah, that would also.
Okay. I'll
Yeah,
keep you
would
posted. Thank you
Okay.
for